All right, everyone. Welcome to Health Coach Training on January 31st. Many of you as health coaches are getting in those last client orders for the end of the month. A lot of people are ready to start at the end of January, so we're calling in orders like crazy, and that's awesome. It's a fun day. It's a fun day in many ways. And we're so excited for tonight's training, and I'll introduce Katie just one moment. But many of you who are new coaches, you begin to start coaching, and you start sharing with a few people, and you start getting clients, and you just get them one at a time, and pretty soon you may have 5 or 6 or 10, and you feel unorganized, and you're like, where do I go from here? And I have too much going. And some people even grow to 25 or 30 clients, and they just can't figure out which way's up. And our client support is so easy and it's so small, but it's real important that you're organized to keep it succinct. And so Katie is coming on to share with us. Katie is a regional director from Indiana, and we are so excited to have Katie come on and train with us on how to use your binder system and the importance of why to keep your life from going crazy.
Yay, thanks, Paul. So with our binders, I promise everything that you can do wrong, I did wrong. And so I think that's why I was asked to train on this. And so I'm just going to share what my binder looks like. I have some screens pulled up to screen share. I have a couple of things that I've talked about in the coach page that are so simple, but I think if you haven't tried them, can be a little bit intimidating. So I'm going to do a couple 2-minute little tutorials on how to use some of those things I've mentioned too. So first, I want to say my binder is really heavy. Even though I am someone who's pretty electronic, I do make sure to use my binder for every single person I talk to. Every pre-client gets a page in this book. And when I say every client, I mean everyone from after the 3rd month I started coaching, because I made a lot of mistakes initially. So learn from me, don't do that. So in the front of my binder, I have my script. And so this is here. When I was a new coach, that was really helpful for me. I didn't want to be scripted or unnatural, but I was also really nervous and afraid I would trip over my words. So it was a lot less about me reading off the paper and a lot more of a confidence booster for me. And so it felt really good to, one, have thought through what I wanted to say on my calls once I started doing them independently. And 2, it was a really good opportunity that if I did get flustered, I knew I had something to reference back to. So if you haven't done that and you're a new coach, I would suggest that you watch some trainings of some of our presidential directors. There's some really, really awesome ones out there. I like the one with Vonda and Dan Valentine the best. I think they do an awesome job, and I basically kind of transcribed their conversation and made it work for me. So that's kind of how I have the front of my binder. And then as I open my binder, the very first thing I have is my structural tension chart. This is something I reference back to on a daily basis. So every morning, I'm going in my Office in Motion, and I'm checking how my coaches are doing and how I'm doing. I look at my Office in Motion every day, most days a couple times a day. And I also fill out my structural tension chart the night before the first of the month. And regardless of what rank you're at, that's something you should continue to do. All of us, from brand new coaches to the highest leadership, should be doing this. This gives us, 1, a direction that we want to go for our month, and 2, it gives us the concrete steps to get there. If you aim at nothing, you're sure to hit it. So just helping you to stay focused and make sure that what you're doing is the best use of your time. And so I am now at a point where I fill out every single line of my structural tension chart. And the other thing that I've noticed for me is sometimes I have big goals. So it's I'll just be really open. So one of my goals is I want to help 8 of my coaches make senior coach. So I don't just write that goal and then put a check once 8 people have hit it. I have a place to check for each small increment where that happens. And so if you have one of my goals is to be on all our team huddles. So each week that gets a check mark. And so that's a really good way to help hold you accountable and make sure that you're interacting with your goal sheet and it's not something you look at when you fill it out and then at the end of the month once the month is over. And I know other folks also sometimes even post this on a mirror or somewhere where they're really going to see it every day. For me, my binder is somewhere that I'm checking every day, but if a binder's not something you're looking at every day, do put it in a place where you're going to see it. In a structural tension chart, if you don't know what that is, please don't feel intimidated by it. You can just grab a piece of paper and write down the steps that are going to help you get to the outcome you desire. That's all this is. It's nothing fancy. It looks fancy, but I promise it's just desired outcome, current reality, and the steps to get there. And so you can do that on a regular piece of paper. Don't feel like you need something special. I just like the format. The second page of my binder is my map. This is the second thing I would highly, highly encourage that you do every single month. The map has a couple of really excellent things that the structural tension chart doesn't offer. My favorite thing is here at the bottom, right here, it gives you some action steps that you can be doing to grow your business. If you're someone who just desires to help a few friends and family, great. You move your business at the rate that's comfortable for you. But if you're someone who really desires to grow a big business, following these action steps makes that a lot easier and really helps you stay focused. So you're not just putting your time out into the universe, you're using it in a really specialized way and in the best way to help the most people. And I like the other thing I really like about this is it helps you look at your coach candidates, your candidates for who you want to help. So who are those people who are on your heart? Who are the people that, you know, so-and-so saw you at the grocery store and, you know, you reached out to them, but they weren't quite ready. And so you just don't want to forget about them. You want to stay active in their lives and, you know, stay part of what's going on in their life. So this is a really great place to not lose track of those names. And then here is where you're filling out all your folks who are going to have B-Slim orders being processed this month. There are other trainings that go through more descriptively of how to fill out the map. This is a very quick rundown of how to do it. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. So if you're new to this, you haven't filled out a map, please reach out to your business coach so that they can help you. This should not be overwhelming. This shouldn't make you feel stressed. This should just be a way to help you stay organized and focused and working towards your goals to help people get healthy. So don't feel like it's a crazy sheet. So those are the first two things in my binder. And then behind it, I just have extra copies so that we don't have a printer at our house, so I don't have to run to FedEx the first of every month. And the other thing I want to mention about that too is before the first of each month, you should be sending these via email or text message to your business coach so that they can know what your goals are. And they can help assist you in the best way possible. It's really, really, really tough, I promise, as a business coach to help your coaches achieve what they want if you don't know what they want. And sometimes people don't know what they want until they write it down. So I would really encourage you to be interacting with your business coach and taking advantage of their expertise in that way. And then I have these fancy dividers. Mine are folders, and let me tell you the reason why. So in your health coaching kit, which some of you may have dissected and some of you have never opened, and it's okay either way. In there, you have a file folder system. Those file folders are awesome if you like them that way. For me, I would rather use a binder. So if you like the file folder system, super, but you actually can do best of both worlds. So what I did, I made copies of the front of my file folders. So that way I have all of the information that's with those file folders, and I just keep them in my sections so that I can make sure to use those. Yeah, and let me pause. Patty made an excellent point. MAP is really good for senior coach. Like if you're just helping a few folks, that's not going to be very applicable to you. You're going to stick more with the structural tension chart. So Patty, thank you for clarifying. That's really good. So you can just make copies of this, put it in your folder, and I didn't do anything. These already come with your kit. And then in my section for my pre-clients, I fill out one of these forms for every single person I talked to. Every single person I talk to gets a form. And I'm not only filling out their why, but I'm also writing down, do they take any medications? Do they have other people in their life who might be interested in the program? What are those things that they shared with me? Because some folks are ready to get healthy on that phone call. And some folks, I literally had this happen to me. I haven't talked to a girl in about 5 months. She hasn't responded. She texted me today and said, my husband and I are ready to get healthy. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't remember anything. I went back to her form. I said, oh, great. I remember you said this and this and this. And so it was really great to have that reference and to be able to go back. And when you're helping a couple people, it seems like I don't need to write that down. But pretty soon your business grows and you're helping a dozen people, and it makes it a lot easier to keep track of all the people you're talking to. So these forms are really helpful. Yeah, Paula.
May I interrupt you just one moment? I saw a few new coaches post in the chat line that they don't have the file folders. The new coach kits don't come with those. We actually have the sections now, and they're just more of a piece of paper, and we will post those on the, if they didn't come in your kit, we'll post them on our health coach support page.
Perfect. Okay.
It's basically just five sheets that Katie will show you what she puts in sleeves.
Yeah. And I'm sure that the new coaching kit must have something that sounds very, very similar. It's just maybe a different form. And if there's not anything that's similar, we'll post the files here so that you can have the same ones that are in the older kits. And they literally say file 1, so you'll know that these are what we're talking about. So the next section of my folder, of my binder, I'm sorry. Once someone decides to get healthy and join our team, I just move them from file 1 to file 2. I don't do anything special. I just transfer them from a pre-client to a current client. And so that's pretty simple. Some folks really utilize the client profile sheet, and they do all their check-ins on paper. For me, this is the part I'm going to show you how I do it electronically next. So whatever works for you, if you're a pen and paper kind of person, please do that. You have to do what works for you. For me, I'm on the go a lot, so it's not always possible for me to have my binder with me. I don't remember to take it everywhere, but I do always have my phone. And so I really like having the electronic version of being able to assist someone. And so I know some people really like Evernote. I know that I think it's Patty and Randy use Evernote, and it works great for them. I actually use an app called Trello. I think it has very similar capabilities. It works really well for me. It's very simple. I'm not like a super techie person, so simple is ideal for me. So I'm going to, if I can screen share. I'm going to screen share here. And this is my Trello. So with Trello, you start and you just kind of create an account. I think you have to have an email address and password. It's not too in depth. And then you can make your boards whatever you want to name them. For me, I kind of started by calling one Take Shape for Life clients, and then it's evolved. And so now I use it more as a check-in purpose as opposed to pre-clients. I realized, oops, mistake. I don't want to do pre-clients on the computer. I want to do pre-clients on paper. And so this is kind of once someone's a client or a coach, this is how I assist them. And so once I click on the check-in, the next screen shows you, these are my people I check in with on Tuesdays. These are the people I check in with on Thursdays. These are the people who are not currently active, but I'm keeping an eye on them. These are the people who I haven't found a time to assist them yet because they're in week 1. So we're just still checking in on a daily basis, not a weekly basis. I have my folks who are on maintenance, who I'm checking in with once a month. I have people who have kind of gone inactive and they're not really ordering anymore, and that's okay. And then I have my team of health coaches. So when you have someone who you're assisting, and I have someone who I've talked to about using her information. And so when I have my weekly check-ins on, one of them's Tuesday evenings, I call and I ask how they're doing, and I'm just gonna click on her name and I have her information. And so each week when she tells me different things, I'm gonna be typing that information in as we have our conversation. And also things I like to do too, as people have birthdays or anniversaries or big things are happening in their life and I see it on Facebook or they send me a text, I will just add that into their notes so I remember to mention it during our weekly calls. I love it because it's also an app on my phone, so I can literally copy a text message and then save it to their Trello account. I never have to like remember, oh, did someone send me a text message this week? Yes, but I don't remember what they said. So that's what really makes it nice about syncing between your phone and your computer. So that's how I use Trello. It's worked really well to help me stay organized. I'm helping a lot of folks, so just makes the process a little bit more streamlined, and I feel like I can keep it a lot more personalized. I'm not forgetting anniversaries or birthdays or some of those bigger events happening in people's lives, and I don't feel like I'm writing on a million Post-it notes all the time. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and come back on here. I would love to pause since I just went over about 2 hours worth of information in 10 minutes and answer any questions that have already popped up in your minds about either Trello or the beginning of your binder.
Katie, if it's very much technicality on the technology side, I would, maybe there might be some things that they may want to ask their business coach privately. Would you please share the wellness tracker? Do you have that ready too?
Yep, I can sure do.
I just know that some people, when they're first starting, the electronics might overwhelm them, and some people who love it, they love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go back to screen sharing here. And I have that pulled up. So I have the well-being tracker. So the well-being tracker is an awesome tool for you to fill out about yourself if you haven't filled it out yet. It's really fun to see how you progress over time. But 2, it's excellent to fill out about your clients. And so similar to like that client profile sheet I was showing you, this is almost like an updated version, or it is an updated version. And I know that like when Megan Cody sends out, for anyone who's interested, she sends them the well-being evaluation before she ever talks to them. And so this is an awesome way for her to keep track of like what their scores were. And it's so fun, again, to like once someone becomes a client and has hit their healthy weight or has made that progress, to show them, wow, like look how far you've come. And so this is a really great way to keep track of those things. And if you're not as techie, that's not something that you really enjoy, this is a way that's very personalized for you to keep up with your clients and have a lot of personal information about them and really make sure that you're helping them succeed and thrive in all areas, and not just the physical well-being. So you can see that there's like a place to check here. To show the date and the amount of pounds gained or lost, the check-in date, and then some notes. And this is a really, really awesome tool to use if you prefer not to use an app like Trello or Evernote, to be electronic and you'd like to do those check-ins weekly via paper and pencil. So I would really encourage you to look into this well-being tracker. You can find it on the Holt page, and that's a really great tool to help with the non-electronic side of check-ins.
May I add one thing, Katie, on that one? One of the reasons, could you just screen share back, because that was an awesome shot. One of the reasons I love to have this one to physically touch is that when I'm talking with my clients, and especially your clients who've been on for a couple of months, we soon know what their goals are in the areas that they're having struggles. And so what if, so I like to look at these. It reminds me of another area that I can give them as a challenge for the week, because I don't want it to become just about weight loss. And so, for instance, this week, I have a very busy executive who I know that she's really busy. And so we talked about her healthy mind, and free time, walking away from her desk. And so by glancing through this, it gives me like, oh yeah, it prompts me of how to set a goal for her if she doesn't know what she wants to work on for the following week. And her goal happens to be that each day she's going to walk away from her desk for at least 10 minutes, because otherwise she tends to work through her lunch. So that is her goal that we're working on. And I just write that in my notes, Sally, taking a 10-minute lunch break each day away from her desk. So that's why I love having this in front of me, because it reminds me that it's not just about weight loss, that it's the financial or the healthy mind and the body. And you look at the body, it's not just about weight loss. You're asking, how's your sleep? How's your movement? Are you taking a walk? Are you getting the neat point? So anyway, I find that just kind of glancing at, and then you have a place also to write their why on the back side. It's like, why do they want to be healthy? And remember, we're not writing down what they don't want. We're writing down what they do want. They want to be healthy. They want to be able to have the energy to take the kids to the park, or they have a family vacation to Disneyland in June and they can't wait because they're going to ride the rides with the kids now. They can actually fit, some of those very real things. So maybe it's a certain size or a pretty dress they want to fit back into their wedding dress. It doesn't matter what it is. But anyway, just it kind of reminds me what they're working on. Or if they said that they had, bad knees and inflammation, and I wrote that on their on the first side with when it has to do with kind of their medical check-in. In about a month, I'm just going to say, how are those knees doing, or how is your sleep doing? And usually they go, oh my gosh, it hasn't been hurting. I totally forgot because it's not hurting. So anyway, that's just how I use the paper version and for myself.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, and you said it much better. And I actually don't really take advantage of that too much. So it's really good to hear from someone who's utilizing that side of things too. And here's a good reminder. This system is great, and these are really great ways to stay organized, but you have to do what works for you too. Like your leader can only give you so much information, and if it doesn't work for you, don't use that. You know what I mean? Like, it's your business. If you're someone who wants to be electronic, you can try that. I tried that and failed. So I do want to advocate for some kind of system on paper. But it is going to be some trial and error. Like, there's going to be some trying to figure out what works for you. And, as time goes on, you'll figure out better. And the most important thing is to set your goals and to share them with your coach. And aside from that, keeping track of your people. So, I haven't gone in the chat here, but I would love to hear feedback or questions.
Katie, can you kind of talk about, go over the sections? Because you actually have your binder. I looked at it this past week. And so it's very set up very clearly. But why, like there's 6 different sections and which forms, and I'm going to work from the paper form because that's when people are first starting until they get this flow of it. That's usually where they start. What is in each of the 6 sections? And that the sections, they're called sections now. Those are also in the Life in Balance page. We'll move them to the top just so that you can print them out. It's like 6. They're basically 6 pieces of paper that are dividers.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So before you even start a section, we have the structural tension and the map. And then section 1 is pre-clients, people who are not yet getting healthy, but you've spoken to and you've done a true share, not just people you've said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, you've asked at the end, are you interested in doing this program? The second section are your active clients. These are people who you talk to on a weekly basis to hear how they're doing and how their health journey is moving forward. The third section are folks who are either on maintenance or are inactive. So these are people you're not checking in with on a weekly basis. For me, I check in with these people once a month. So whatever works for your schedule, but I do mine on the 15th of every month. So I can ensure, hey, I know that 15th is a day that I'm doing it and I don't repeat or forget people. So I would encourage you to pick that one day. That's your day to check in with those folks. The next section is health coach candidates. Who are the people you've done a true share with about health coaching? If you're new, this is not something that you need to really dive too far into. Just know you'll need this section. If you're someone who's starting to get here, you'll be doing these with 3-way calls. If you're someone who's more advanced, then you probably don't need to explain it. The next section are your people who are actually health coaches. They've decided to join your team. You're working alongside them, helping them get folks healthy. And then my last section are all my extra copies and making sure that I have extra client profile sheets. And then like as we do different trainings, like I have my DISC profile, personality test, and things that I feel like are useful to keep in my health coaching binder. And I've seen on our window that we've had like 25 questions about where we can find these. I didn't realize some people have them and some people didn't, since my coaching kit came with them so long ago. So we'll make sure to put these sections on the whole page so that you can print them off and add them to your binder if you've started more recently and you do not already have them. And also the map is on the whole page as well. It's called MAP 3.0. It's been updated a few times. Okay. All right. I really would love to answer questions. I know it's a lot easier to do this in person since this is a physical item. If you don't have any questions, I'm not forcing you to ask them, but as anyone knows, when you lead a call, it's awkward when no one talks to you. So feel free to ask anything that's coming up.
Katie, I will tell you, I've already just posted those 2 files to the top of the page.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Katie,
Yeah.
since you mentioned about Evernote, could I just share a couple items about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I love what Katie shared about Trello, and it's nice when we, for those who do like technology, things that sync with your phone, your iPads, your tablets, and everything. That's really handy. I have to say, first of all, I do use a binder. I just have a smaller binder that I keep my profile sheets in. I keep my map, the things that I have to refer to the most. I do have that. And what I do with Evernote is, just by the sound of the name, you can keep notes on anything. And so similar to Katie, I keep track of all my client records in Evernote. But what I do during, like when I'm doing my weekly check-in calls, I found it's faster for me just to write notes. So I have like a junior legal size pad that I'll just jot down the notes of their progress, or ahead of time I'll think of questions I want to ask them and jot that down. And then what you can do in Evernote is you can actually take a photo of anything and save it in Evernote. So after I get done with my client calls, I just take a quick snapshot with my phone, save it in Evernote, and then I don't have to rewrite anything for, like to transfer information or whatever. In Evernote, I also, a lot of times, like maybe we're wanting to send out an email to somebody that, you just want to, sometimes you just want something you can copy and paste. I store all that type of thing in Evernote. So it's just quick. I can find it. That's another way I use it. Randy and I, we share it because we're on the team together, both working at health coaching. So we share notes with one another. And when I need to send out things to our health coaches, everything is stored there. Plus I have on my laptop, obviously, all the other documents and helpful videos and things like that that's stored. But so mine is kind of a combination of, the paper, things that we need in a binder and the technology piece of it. And it's handy for me, just like you said, Katie, when you want to look up something on your phone as a reminder, or, where you're at with somebody in the conversation, just to make quick notes. So that's how it's worked for me.
That's a really good, I didn't even think about, like, if you co-coach, the importance of your coaching partner to be able to have access to all this stuff. That's a really good point too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll just add one more comment to what Patty just said. I think it's a combination of both. It's good to have paper, and then for those that are comfortable with technology, I think it's good to have the technology. Just one case in point, we were on the beach, and and just all of a sudden somebody decided they wanted to go ahead and get started, and we didn't have paper with us. We're at the beach, right? But because it was electronic, we were able to go ahead and get their order placed and do everything within minutes. So it's a benefit to those that Evernote is very simple to use. And Katie, it looks like your system's simple to use. I think it's just a matter of having a blend of both. The one thing I would say about an electronic system, you can back that up, in case something, and if you lose your binder, you forgot to take your binder, or, it got lost with your luggage, it's, I don't know how you back up a binder. So I'm just going to say, have both, and I think it's going to help you in the event that you're like out at the beach, you're like, I would love to place that order, but I don't have my binder. So it's a combination.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we're always talking about leading integrated lives. And so when we do lead integrated lives, we want to be on the go and in different places. And you're exactly right. It's a lot easier to take that with you. So. Awesome. All right. Well, it must have been very thorough. Everyone must feel very good about their organization system.
Oh, Katie, thank you so much. It's a simple thing, but it's something that gets overlooked. And it is the difference of whether you don't know what you're doing and you can't remember which client you're calling each day. And so just keep it organized in your binders. If you decide to, if you have a lot of clients and you want to divide them into days of the week, or East Coast clients so that you call them earlier in the day, Pacific, later. There's so many different ways, or on the Trello. That is awesome. The main thing is just getting it down so you feel like you can breathe, and you also can remember what you talked about the previous week, so that you can follow through, and that you sound like you're really in tune and you're, part of them and you really care. They're gonna tell you those little things that are coming up, or maybe a wedding's coming up in 2 weeks, and you have that written somewhere, either electronically or paper, so that you can ask them, okay, no, do we need to, let's come up with a strategy. How are you feeling about that? Are there fears coming, or do you feel confident? You got it. Did you order enough meal replacements that you can take the things that you love on vacation? Just those simple things. But Katie, that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
All right, everyone. Anyone else want to say anything before we close out?
Could I ask one more question? Katie mentioned about the well-being tracker. I know that, like the newest forms they introduced, like after the convention last year, that they did the well-being tracker and the health tracker. I get a little confused sometimes on, some of those two forms are very similar. So I was wondering, like, what do you guys do? Like, who uses what, or you use a combination of both of those, or what?
Good question. At one of the Miller trainings, what they really decided was the health tracker, or the health tracker is really great it's more clinical, and it's similar to what our old client profiles used to be. So those are better in a clinic setting, so for the doctors who are bringing it in. And then the well-being tracker really focuses on all aspects, the healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And so those of us who are trying to implement and help our clients integrate into a true lifestyle change, that's the ones where it fits for the right reasons, as Katie was saying, because they may do the well-being evaluation this month, and 3 months later, it's going to be different. And that's another way of measuring the progress. It's not always about inches and size and pounds. So we can have those celebrations with them. Katie, do you have anything else to add to that, on top of that, to clarify Patty's question?
No, I actually didn't know the answer, so I learned too. Thanks for asking, Patty.
And the health coach tracker, if you have health coaches, that also will be posted. That is also under files in the health coaching page, because if you are a new coach and you have a new coach, you're thinking, how do I know what they have? But what do we need to share with them? Remember, although your business coach is helping you, we do have like a little checkoff sheet, and it's so awesome. That now step number 1 is helping them know their own story and to be able to tell it succinctly and quickly and important. And then the second one is, helping them create their share list, helping them do 3-way calls. They're very specific in order. And as a business leader, as a new business coach, you might feel fearful, but you don't have to. You really just go step 1, step 2, step 3. So very cool.